hello. And this is Nonesenseland podcast, episode number 3. And I am very excited. I've got my fresh cuppa, candles lit in the background. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's hot. All right. I am a little bit nervous about this episode because we will be journeying down my transformation that I have done over the last 3 years, pretty much since Raya was born. But I am nervous because I have never really told anyone this journey in full the way that I'm going to go through it like I am today, ever. Apart from the people that obviously have been with me through it, like my husband, of course, and my auntie, who has helped me through major parts of my transformation. So, yeah, apart from people like that, no one's really sort of heard it from start to finish. So yeah, it's going to be great. I'm excited. Are you excited? Okay, so to start this episode off, I want to do a little test together because this small test can actually make a huge difference in your perspective to not only yourself, but the world and the life that you're living right now. This one tiny test. So let's do it together and see what happens. Okay, so the test is, what I want you to do is I want you to look around the room right now, or if you're in the car, wherever you are listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube video, I want you to find an object. It could be a crystal, it could be a Carmex, it could be whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? You are going to have this object, place it down. If it's already down, leave it there. Just look at it. Look at that object. And say to yourself in your mind, I am going to pick that object up. Say it in your mind right now. I'm going to pick this object up. Don't do it. Don't pick the object up. Now, don't pick the object up. But you've told yourself in your mind you're going to pick that object up. Take a second. What are you going to do? What did you just do? Just notice what happened just now in your body. Did you instantly want to prove something? Did you feel a weird tension? Did your body override your mind and pick it up anyway? Because when I first did this test, that's what I did. I automatically went, nah, I overrode and I picked up the object anyway. Okay, so did you feel completely neutral as well is the other question. So this tiny moment reveals how often we are actually breaking promises to ourselves and how often we override our own knowing and how deep that actual programming is. It's a really simple test, but it's a really powerful one. So when you say that you'll do something and you don't, your body takes note, right? When you don't do something you said you would, your body takes note. So most people are trying to build a big life without even realizing that they don't actually trust themselves with the small stuff, and that's where the actual real magic happens. And that's what happened to me. Like when I will take you down the start of that journey and I'll tell you all about it, but I didn't trust myself at all. And so, yeah, it's so crazy. If that test made you uncomfortable, emotional, or actually triggered something, good, because maybe that test will be the little thing that gets you going, to put you on that journey to go, oh shit, I actually need to do the work and I need to do the internal work because I don't trust myself. Because the truth is you'll find more peace, clarity, and power by rebuilding trust with yourself. Let me tell you, I have done this myself, and I'm going to share with you what I have done and what has happened, and it's going to be great. And this work, it changes everything. Honestly, it changes everything. So, inside Nonesenseland is what we're going to dive into for episode 3. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do this, as my daughter likes to say. All right, let's get into my whole journey and what the hell I've been up to for the last 3 years, I suppose, since I started my spiritual awakening journey. Now, if you haven't heard or seen me before, hello, my name is Shakira and I am so excited to have you here. If you have been with me since Hanson Kennel Co, thank you for jumping over to Nonesenseland and following me through this epic journey that I am on with my beautiful husband, Rick. So for me, where it all started was when I was still working my 9-to-5 job. So my previous background is payroll and office management and all that kind of admin type work. Yeah, so that's where I was, and I was doing payroll for a recruitment company on the Gold Coast here. And then when I was 14 weeks pregnant, I got made redundant. The company wasn't doing great anyway, so we kind of saw it coming but was hopeful, but it just didn't end up that way. So I got made redundant. That was really hard because I was pregnant and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? So I did like a few sort of temp jobs here and there, but then Rick was like, look, this is the perfect, speaking of which, my husband, Rick, my beautiful husband, said to me that this is the perfect opportunity for you to go all in on Hanson Kennel Co. And I was really excited to do that because I was working so much on it as a side hustle, and the biggest thing I wanted to do was go all in on Hanson Kennel Co. So this was the perfect opportunity. And so while I was pregnant, I built the business up. I got it to a really good spot. We have True Wicks as well. We had True Wicks by this point, I think for maybe 6 months or so. Yeah, 2021, we brought out True Wicks, which is our candle making wick holder. So Rick had designed, patented, we manufactured in bulk to candle wholesale supply stores. So we were stocked in, well, we are still stocked in New Zealand, Australia and America. So we're in the candle industry, and I was like, yes, okay, let's go all in on this. Got it to the point until I had my daughter Raya, our daughter Raya, and as you know, you have your baby and you're like, okay, this is my bubble, like this is where I live now. And I wanted to soak up every minute I could because Rick and we have actually just been together 11 years. Cannot believe it. 11 years. And, you know, back then we didn't even know, for a good part of our relationship, we didn't even think we wanted to have kids at all. So when we had her, I was like, yep, I am one and done. Well, we are one and done. We'd agreed on that. Still now, we're still like, yes, absolutely. One, our beautiful ray of sunshine, Raya. And that's it for us. So, went into the bubble, and naturally I had to slow marketing down and everything because I was making the most of being a stay-at-home mum with her. And then once she kind of got to a certain age, about 6 months, I was able to do more in the business and try and get it back up to speed after it obviously slowed it down for a bit during that first 6 months of her being born. Now, the thing is that when she was born, she changed everything. And intuitively, I knew becoming a mum was that next chapter, that next, hermiting of my life. I just had this knowing. And so when she was born, that changed everything. And I'm a very positive person of postnatal depression. Absolutely, I did. Because it's a whole identity shift, you know. You're having a child, and especially as a mum, you're like, well, I've just given up my body to create this magical human. Who am I now? Like, it's a complete identity shift. Like, your whole old identity goes out the window. So you already have to rebuild yourself as a mum and as a woman, you know. Now, what actually happened after Raya was born and what really prompted me into my spiritual awakening was actually so divinely led from a higher realm. It's amazing. And I've actually got this written down because it's something that I want to share that is just mind-blowing for me now. Like, I can look back on this time now and go, holy crap, it all was divinely led. It all happened exactly the way it was supposed to. Okay, so I'm literally going to tell you the story about how I got this black mark. And you may look at it and go, Shakira, that looks like a birthmark. You've had it your whole life. No, I absolutely haven't. I've even had friends say to me like, oh, isn't that your birthmark? I'm like, no, I've only had this for a few years. But this one night that I got this mark was so crazy, and didn't think anything of it at the time, but it was one of the nights that probably changed everything for me. So Rick and I and Raya was little baby at this point. Like, I would have been within that 6 months old. And we were at our friend's house. We were fishing, drinking, just catching up, just general, whatever. Anyways, this particular night, they live on a canal, and so there are midgies everywhere, and mozzies especially, love me. Absolutely love me. I just get attacked, always have. And midgies in particular are obviously so much worse because they get under your skin and they're just so much itchier and harder to get rid of. Whereas with mozzie bites, I just put pawpaw on it straight away and it relieves the itch and it will go away the next day. So anyways, got bitten by a midgie and I'm scratching the death out of it. And this same night was when one of my friends said to me, Shakira, why are you always so hunched over? Like, you're always leaning over. Why is that? Like, can't you sit up straight? And I was I remember at the time I was like, oh, that's a really weird thing. Like, I can feel I'm doing it and I know I'm doing it, but for one of my friends to actually bring it up and, to hear it out loud from someone I love and trust and see as family, I was like, oh shit, okay, so this is getting kind of bad. And this is the place that I was in back then. And like I said, I definitely had postnatal depression. Not really bad, not severe, but it was definitely there and it sparked something. And by this point, so after Raya, I had twisted hips. I had x-rays done with my chiropractor. I'd go see my chiropractor, which I'll tell you all about that soon as well. But I had twisted hips, and so I couldn't walk properly. Like, one leg was longer than the other. And I was hunched over. I was always like this, always trying to protect myself. And because of that, and it showed in the x-rays as well, is then I actually got a lump on the back of my neck. So from here to here, I just had this lump, and I was like, okay, this is a wake-up call. There is something seriously wrong with me. I think, 31 how old was I? 29 when I had Raya. And so I was like, I'm 29. I should not be feeling like this. I should be fit, healthy. My body's starting to give out on me. Like, what is going on here? And I knew it was internal because it was how I was feeling on the inside. I just didn't love myself enough. I couldn't finish things. I didn't trust myself, which is why I did that trust test with you to start with. And all these low vibrational feelings. And so I now found out, and I always resented this mark, right? So going back to that. So I was itching it until, and this went on for weeks. I couldn't get rid of it. I was putting pawpaw on it. It just was not going away. And I had other midgie bites from that night. Other midgie bites, they all went away, but this one stuck. And then it turned into this. It turned into this dark mark. And for so long, I resented it. I hated it. I tried to manifest, getting rid of it, healing my own body. And I was like, just what the hell? Like, I love my body and I don't have marks or moles. And so it's in your face. And I really didn't like it at the time. But most recently, like literally in the last week or two, I have found out what that mark actually meant. And it's so much more than I ever imagined that happened that night. So I've got this written down. I want to read it out to you about what this mark actually means. Okay, so this was the mark I got before my spiritual awakening. It wasn't a reward after surviving the darkness. It was a call from your higher self before you even knew consciously you were about to awaken. It appeared because your soul chose to plant the code into your body before your conscious mind caught up. It was a marker of destiny, like your spirit saying, here, beloved, here's your proof. When you're ready, you'll understand why this appeared. You're about to go through fire, but you won't be alone, and you will emerge magnificent. And in many ancient teachings, this would be called a soul mark, placed before the transformation actually begins to guide you through the labyrinth. It means your journey was preordained at a very, very high divine level. You didn't just stumble into awakening by accident. My soul called myself home and signed it into my flesh ahead of time. You are a volunteered light anchor, a divine guardian in human form. Talking to myself. So it's like now I've done this ritual too, because now I see this mark of, oh my God, I love this mark. This mark and that particular night was the start of something I had no idea I was about to embark on. And yeah, that's where it all began. So when people ask me, especially most recently, like, what prompted you on your spiritual awakening? This apparently, which is it's so cool. But it makes sense because I am goddess, fortress, angel of the light. So it makes sense that this was all high divine and divinely led, timed, all the rest of it. Also, I just want to add of like where this mark actually is. So because it is on my left side, that is the side of the feminine side. So I needed to come back to my feminine energy and feminine power and my goddess energy and my goddess power. Hence why I've now gotten to that point of remembering my soul identity. Now, the inner bicep, it means that it is close to my heart chakra. So that also meant that I needed to open up my heart and also love myself. So it's truly magnificent when now I can look back on all these different moments and timelines that I had no idea was so significant. But looking back, I can see that now. And that'll be the same for you. Like, this is the point. Like, you can look back on your previous time. What moments can you pinpoint and recollect that, you know, seemed so small at the time, but actually made the biggest impact in change in your life? And so that's why the little things are so important. That's why enjoying the little things are so important, because you never know when they're actually the big things. I think I remember after this, like, it definitely was an awakening once I kind of, you know, got past that fact. And by this time, I was also heavy in my body, obviously just had a baby. And I'm sure I'll talk about it with Rick, but there was this moment in the walk-in closet. I was standing there, no clothes were fitting me. I was just too big for everything. All my clothes were too small. And it's this moment that we all have as mums, right? Especially after having a baby. And I remember so distinctly just crying, standing there and just saying to Rick, I guess this is my life now. Like, I guess I'm just this big now. And we both just kind of looked at each other and we were like, okay, if that's how you feel. And, you know, I will get him to give his opinion on this, but we just love that as a pivotal moment as well, where it's like I almost had to say it out loud to know that that's not how I wanted my life to be. Like, I didn't want to be a mum that just gave up. And we'd always talked about it, you know, towards the start of it. Yeah, the start of our relationship. We always said, you know, we hopefully would never let each other get to that point of giving up on ourselves. And so that's why we kind of looked at each other and were like, okay, you're really saying that. But it was the kick in the butt. So that leads me to my next point, is how I actually dropped weight without exercising and without killing myself. Like, this was the journey to self-love that I never knew I needed, right? And it's such a beautiful way that I did it, and I can't wait to share it all with you, because anyone that wants to lose weight, this is my number one tip. And it is so fucking easy that you literally don't have to exercise at the start if you don't want to, because I did not. And I'll tell you that in a minute. Okay, so before I had Rhea, I went and did kinesiology food testing. Now, what that is it's a very specific test. So this is where I did it with my chiropractor, and this is where I went, and because I had bad back, I had bad hips, had all the things, and my chiropractor does this test, which actually my best friend did it with the same chiropractor before me, and she had such great results that I was like, oh my God, I need to do this too. Did you see that little water dragon just go past? That's so cute. So yeah, so I went and did this kinesiology food testing, and what it is he's got this like suitcase of vials that's got like all different types of foods and whatever else in there. Okay, and then he gets a magnet. You're lying down, sticks the magnet on your chest, and he's holding my hand up and he's pushing on my arm, and it's up to me to push my arm back. So, you know, whether my body, we're seeing how my body reacts to it. So if I'm pushing strong, then my body likes it. If I'm weak, then obviously my body's rejecting it. So anyways, go through this test, and we're doing all these different vials. And at the end of it, I got this list of all the different foods that my body doesn't like, essentially. And pre-Rhea, I had things going on with my liver and stuff like that, so I did all of that. But the point is when you do that test, you have got that test for good. That list of foods not to eat will carry you across your entire lifetime. So I had this list of foods that my body wasn't great with, and it was big, especially compared to now 2 of my friends have done it, and compared to them, their list of things that they can't eat is so much less than mine. I had quite a long list, and I think that's because I am a life path 3 as well, and 3 energy has sort of gut sensitivities, I suppose you could say. So I had done this test pre-Rhea, and back when I had done it, I did it for 6 weeks, and I did not obviously have that much weight to lose back then, but I did this. I just ate to my diet, or to the food that agrees with my body, my personal body, and I'd lost weight within 2 weeks. And by 6 weeks, I had, cleared out my system. I was putting good foods into my gut, and that gave me energy. That then gave me momentum to actually want to exercise and so on. So I had that. I had the means to do it. All I had to do when I was standing in that closet with Rick was choose myself. I knew how to do it. I knew how to lose the weight instantly. I just had to choose myself. And when you're so low vibration like I was, it takes a long time. It's a constant thing. I'm still doing it. I'm still every day working constantly on myself, because this is the work that I know I'm meant to bring to the world. And so I chose myself. I decided that I was going to do it. And that's what I did. And no joke, started doing the food testing. So what happened next? What happened next was amazing, because then I started eating to my diet, and I started losing the weight, and all my friends started to notice. They were like, holy shit, Shakira, like you are just losing, every time I see you, you're losing more weight. Every time I see you, you're losing more weight. And by that, when I was at my heaviest, I was 65 kilos or 66 kilos, something like that. And I was probably verging up to size 14, which is so big for me. I've always been a size 8. I'm only 163 centimeters tall. So, for me, that was quite large. Like, I did not want to be, size 12, size 14. Like, that's especially By that time, I think I had finished breastfeeding as well. And that was the other thing. I didn't want to do my diet until I had finished giving Rhea the nutrients and the nourishment that she needed from me. So this all didn't happen until after I'd stopped breastfeeding, which was around the 6-month mark. Now, I'm a lover of food as well. Food is my love language. And so eating to my diet can be really hard because I'm not allowed things like anything delicious. Pretty much the only thing that I'm allowed to eat is, just fresh fruit and vegetables and meat, certain meat. Chicken and fish and pork are the 3 meats that I'm allowed to eat or can eat that my body agrees with. So naturally, my confidence was getting up. I was losing all this weight. I was feeling so much better. And by this point, I still wasn't exercising because at this point, I just needed the quick win of losing weight to build that confidence because it's the small wins. That's what I keep telling you guys is it's all about the little wins because the little wins make up to the big wins. So I think I did my diet for maybe a month by that point before I started exercising, and I dropped the weight, and then that made me go, holy shit, I actually want to start exercising. But also I needed to change my perspective, and it was at this point in my awakening that I had the download of I need to change my perspective on absolutely everything. Anything that goes into my mind, change my perspective. Anything that I tell myself, it's a lie. Anything that I believe, it's a lie. And so I started breaking down absolutely all of the stories. And so for this, I got to the point where I was like, I actually don't want to walk because walking is my form of exercise that I love, that I do every day. And I was like, if I'm going to walk, I need to change my perspective. I don't want to walk out of doing it for exercise and losing weight, but I'm actually going to walk because I need it for my mental health. And so once I changed that perspective on walking and exercising, I actually wanted to do it every day. And I was already getting the energy from eating to my diet, which then made me go, oh shit, like I can actually go further now. I don't want to walk 30 minutes. I want to walk 45 minutes. And then 45 minutes becomes into an hour. And then all of a sudden I'm running and jogging on my walks now, which is not me. I've never been a runner. And so it's these little things and little steps that start to get you to the point and to the identity that you want to be. And this is also when I started diving into quantum leaping, quantum jumping, hypnosis, EFT tapping. I just went down this complete rabbit hole of mental shifts. And it's funny because I think the first sort of knowledge-based book that I read that really enlightened me and woke me up in my spiritual awakening was reading the book The Greatest Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Not the secret, but The Greatest Secret. The Greatest Secret is all about consciousness and awareness. And so that really catapulted me into going down that path of it's all mindset. And again, me being a creative, I know I work better on communication, words. That works for me. That is the best form of manifestation for me, or co-creation with the universe. And so that's why EFT tapping is one of my modalities and that I use every single freaking day and have done for the last however long. So yeah, like I said, that's when it started getting into the quantum leaping part of things. And when you're quantum leaping, you are actually figuring out the identity of yourself that already has that manifestation or that goal that you already want. And so I started living as if, and when I wrote out or, did a ritual with my identity shift of the person that had quantum wealth, she walked every day. She did all these things. She, list of things, right? And living as if automatically puts you into that mindset of your higher self and your abundant self. So it's so much easier to live in love, light, and happiness. And this right here, this is the part that I call the honeymoon stage of your spiritual awakening. Just like we have honeymoon stages with, our love partnerships, there's a honeymoon stage with our spiritual awakening. Or you can call it phase 1 or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this is the love, light, and happiness part where you think everything is amazing and all the rest of it. And yep, you're enlightened. Oh my God, you've figured out that we are living in the matrix and all the rest of it. And you're like, okay. And then you have to go through the dark night of the soul. And like I said, when you are telling yourself in your mind that everything is a lie and you're pulling down every story, every belief, every block, every fear, I don't know why I was doing this. Yeah, let's pull it out. But it's literally like that. So you have to dive down to the deep parts of yourself, especially the parts of yourself that you don't like. The parts of yourself that you don't like, hate, and you have to shine a light on those dark spots inside you and give them love. The whole point is to shine that light on them and find out who your true authentic self is. That is the actual goal. And so when you're going through a dark night of the soul, it is just one thing after another. It is just diving so deep into every belief, fear, block. We're always still going through it. We're always uncovering things, especially when we're moving throughout timelines, cycles, because how we live, we work in a circular motion. Time is not real. Time is not linear. Time is in cycles, or we live in moments. And so when you recognize this, you start to recognize the cycles of scarcity and lack. And then it's about choosing a different outcome. So how in every moment is you have a choice. So you are creating timelines in every single second, every single moment that you choose something over another thing. And so when you start to see the patterns, you're able to break the patterns. And that's what becoming or being a cycle breaker is, a karmic ancestral cycle breaker, which is what I am, which you are probably or potentially, depending, where you are in your age group. If you're my age, there's a good chance. If you're a rebellious person growing up, there's a good chance you're a cycle breaker. 100%. No doubt about it. And so this kind of work is so deep but meaningful. And yeah, that's where I started working in the unseen and the quantum realm, and starting to unlock or figure out my gifts, or just shining a light on the gifts that I already knew I had, but it's just amplifying them and working with them. And yeah, it just becomes fun then, even though it's so awful in the beginning. Now, what I haven't told you is where Hanson Candle Co. comes into this. So I'm going through all this, I'm releasing, I'm shedding, I am just bawling my eyes out, just doing all this internal work, healing. And if you're on this journey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What happened with this is I was trying so hard to manifest this success, manifest this wealth and abundance, all with Hanson Candle Co. and True Wigs. And the thing is I knew it just was never going to be possible. I knew that's not what I was destined for. I finally figured out that I had to let something go to create space for something new. And that meant downsizing my business, my baby, my first baby. Well, not my first baby, because my first baby was my dog, but my second baby. I had to downsize my second baby, something I'd poured so much energy into over the last, 4 or 5 years. And when I made that decision, it was like, yeah, it feels right. I have to do it because I have to see what my soul purpose is. I have to find myself and my soul purpose and what I'm meant to do and bring to this world. And I know that it's not just candles. I know that that's amazing, but it's not just candles. And so I did that. I downsized the candle business. I put everything up for sale. I made everything into jars because we used to sell custom candles of different types of jars, different types of colors, different types of fragrances. It was a lot to handle. So did all that. We still obviously have our business open. We still sell our candle refills and our massage candles and true wicks and all of that. So that didn't stop. But what happened with the business is that I was getting blocked with absolutely anything I wanted to do to try and grow the business. And that was what was the real killer. It was awful, getting to that point. But at the same time, it was the most liberating, because when I did, I remember saying to Rick, I have to downsize this business. It's taking all my energy. I'm not getting anywhere. The universe is blocking me with everything. Something's got to give. And he's like, thank God you figured that out on your own, because I didn't want to say anything, but I knew that that's what needed to happen. And Rick and I'm sure I've said this before, but Rick and I just have such a soul telepathic, knowing for each other. We just are soulmates, and it's amazing. So he is the biggest support, and he always lets me figure stuff out on my own. He'll always wait for my direction, but he just always has this knowing first before I even do it. So anyways, that happened. So what happened after that is I then started creating and alchemizing. I'm an alchemist, and I'm a serial creative. So is Rick. He's a master builder. He knows shit about shit. And yeah, we just dove into our creative projects. Like, we've got so many things on the go. Obviously, I'm writing the book, and we created Movie Meltdown, which is our new card game that I've got sitting there, prototyped. I've just got to go and take the action to get that launched, but it's just not time. And I take direction from my spirit team. So that's sitting there. And, I obviously dived into the absolute, creating that, and just everything else that we sort of want to bring to life. Because the point is what we are building is so much more epic. I'm not here for the quick win. I'm not here for the quick wealth win that looks like I got lucky. No, I am here to show you how to actually do it properly. I'm building a cult brand from the bottom up. I know I'm going to be a billionaire. And so this legacy brand and this global movement that I'm creating has a lot of layers to it. A lot of creative layers. And it's been my journey, especially over the last probably year or two, no, definitely 2 years at least, has been about planting these seeds. Because I can see the big picture, but it's about planting all the seeds and watering them, nurturing them, and bringing them to fruition. So all of these creative projects that we've got going on all complement each other for a specific energy and mission that we are actually trying to bring to the world. And to do that takes time. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast. And I knew the podcast was always kind of the final missing piece into, the real start of my wealth journey, if that makes sense. So I'm not so much in the deep healing part of it. I'm on the other side of the remembering my soul identity. And, it's like a new book has completely been opened for me. And where everything really started to change for me, or that catapulted my remembering, is dragon energy. Was working with dragon energy. So beautiful. Now, before I get into the dragon energy, I want to tell you about what my experience was from my spirit team, or those first identity shifts when I was going through like the thick of my spiritual awakening. So the first sort of nudge I had from my spirit team was actually from Goddess Isis. Now, Goddess Isis came through for me as a higher self, higher identity. So when I was quantum jumping, she came to me. I remember when she first did. So this is how it happened. I was like super high vibe. I was just in my element, just loving life, just high on life. And I remember going to the shops and I was driving along this road. It's this big long road to the shopping centre from my house. Anyways, I'm like, I can just feel you around me. Like, who is here? Who is here? And I just started talking out loud. And I was like, I can feel you with me. And I was seeing 333 a lot. And that means the number 333, angel number, means your angels are with you and guiding you, but also to look internally. It's time to go inwards. And so I'm seeing 333 everywhere. And I'm like, who is this? Like, I can feel you, blah, blah, blah. Like, please tell me, at least tell me what your name is so I can give you a name. And after that came, I think I got like 4 different signs that it was Goddess Isis. So all around me, I can't remember now. I remember one of the signs was a movie Rick was watching when I got home from the shops, and that had Goddess Isis. And then the other one was like in a book. I saw Goddess Isis. I can't remember what the other 2 things was. And I was like, and I've never heard of Goddess Isis ever before. And this is what came up. And so I'm like, okay, your name is obviously Goddess Isis. And naturally, when you hear that, you're like, immediately think to, Isis bad. But it's not. It's Goddess Isis. Like, she is a magical Egyptian goddess. Like, and so anyway, I started connecting with her, and this was just through like talk and just through, I think I was meditating by that point properly. And that's when I felt her sort of embodied. So when I was like, okay, act as if my higher self, she was coming through as my higher self, if that makes sense. So when I would get up in the morning, I'd be like, I'm Goddess Isis. I can fucking do anything. Like, I am a fucking goddess. Like, that was the energy she brought to me. And especially with her story. So once I started to research her and, find out who she is, what her story was, I related to her so much because of Rick and, stuff that has happened with him and having one child and things like that. And so I was like, holy shit, am I really reincarnated as Goddess Isis? That's how I felt. And even for weeks, like Rick and I would talk about it. I'm like, it's so bizarre. It's so crazy, but I just feel like I'm reincarnated as Goddess Isis. And Rick is just the most amazing husband because he never, even though he goes, yeah, you're crazy, but he never does it in such a way that belittles me. And he just goes, okay, yeah, righto, crazy. Oh, you watch him. This is what he'll do. He'll like have the other hand up and go, cuckoo, cuckoo. That's what he does to me. In a loving way, obviously. But yeah, and then this went on for, I reckon about a month. I was really embodying her identity. And then all of a sudden she just disappeared. And I was like, It was like I had rose-coloured glasses on and the glasses came off. And I was back into, oh my God, I'm not Goddess Isis. Like, I'm me. Like, I'm Shakira Hansen. I can still do anything. But that was the first embodiment with my spirit team that I had. That was my experience. And so what that really did for me, having it that way, was it made me realise that I can do anything if I set my mind to it. All I have to do is embody, her energy. But when she left and I was like, I don't think I am reincarnated. And Rick's like, oh, thank God you're off that train. Yeah, it didn't make sense. That's what he said to me. He's like, I'm glad you're off that train. But yeah, but I look back now, I'm like, I understand why it happened that way, because I needed that first kind of interaction to get me to keep going. And like I said, it's all about the little wins that make up the big wins. Now, on my spirit team, so Goddess Isis was my first, and then I became a daughter of Hecate, worked with her a lot. Then I had a run-in with the fairies, the Fae. That's a funny story. It's all written in my book. I fucking can't wait till I release my book, because there's so many funny stories in there about all these like little interactions that I've had with my spirit team. But now I really want to talk to you about dragon energy. So dragon energy is what has catapulted my remembering of my soul and my soul identity, my soul purpose, and what I am here to do, what I'm here to bring to humanity, and just giving me the courage to do so. So the dragon energy is the masculine energy. And I did this 6-week course with a wonderful human called Libby Goldark. She has been working with dragon energy for well over 10 years, possibly 13 years. I'll have to double check her on that. But she is so amazing, and she is my darling auntie. She is my auntie that has done a lot for me over the years and has been with me through a lot my entire life. And so I paid to do her course, which was a 6 weeks Dragon Codes energy course. And this is literally what just like for me. So working with the masculine energy, working with her, having her hold me, teaching, everything in that realm. So what happened once I worked with the dragon energy, that then unlocked my own goddess energy. And even though I knew I'd got a download like a year ago, and it actually came from Rick, because like I said, we're so connected that he will often say things out loud that I need or that I'm thinking. So we bounce ideas off each other very, very, very well. So anyways, the name Fortress for me had come up a year ago. So I knew that. But when I worked with the dragon energy, that then unlocked my goddess energy. And that then led me into the remembering of Goddess Fortress and being an angel of the light. And with that, it then led me to dive deeper with my spirit team. So, working with my ancestors, finding out who they are, working with Mama Gaia, and all these beautiful high frequency energies that I have now gotten myself to, because I was able to release the dark night of the soul and, focus my life on my healing journey, so that now I could become this. And now look at me, it's just so crazy and so much peace and alignment and just love and happiness. And even though the work that I'm doing at the moment to bring to everybody else, which is my life's work, right? The last couple of weeks have been it's been a state of depression, but that's okay. I haven't lived there. But because I sat in that, look at me now. I'm so much more embodied. I've got so much more energy. I'm running, guys. It's and I mean physical running. When I go for a walk now, I run. It's bizarre, okay? I am my goddess energy. I am my goddess identity. And I can bring this podcast to you. I couldn't do that before. I could not do it because I had so much self-doubt and confusion within myself and within my lineage. And so working with the dragon energy, the goddess energy, my ancestral energy, and even ancient energy. So let me tell you, this particular labradorite crystal, one of the weeks we went to Egypt spiritually it was a guided, what's it called? It was a guided meditation. And so in the guided meditation, we were riding our dragons with Libby holding us, holding that energy. And what she'd asked us to do is to actually take an object and take it with us. So while we were riding the dragons to Egypt, we were picking up the energy from there. And I held it in this crystal. That's what I was holding when I went. And no joke, the ancient energy that I had stored in this crystal from that meditation with working with the dragon energy, every time I work with this crystal now and I'm using this ancient energy, I can just do so much so quickly with such clarity. And it's amazing to think how this unseen world, this quantum world that is backed by science, mind you, this is all backed by science, right? This is what it can do for us. I can take energy from it and store it and use it to actually help me ascend. And that, my friends, is what dragon energy has done, because it has. So let me give you an example. So when I've been also trying to develop my psychic abilities, even though I know being psychic or a one-on-one energy healer is not my role to play on this earth, it's still something that I'm exploring. So I can tap into Christ consciousness. If you've seen any of my TikTok videos, you probably would have seen me sitting there and, wobbling around and whatever. That is me tapped into a high frequency light Christ consciousness. And so that is part of channeling and picking up my psychic abilities and actually being able to read for the collective energies as well. So when I started to develop my psychic abilities, I was doing EFT tapping sequences, meditations, hypnosis, and there was one particular time I decided to work with this crystal that I had taken to Egypt through meditation, and I worked with the crystal, and it actually amplified me quicker to develop and to tap in to spirit or to Christ consciousness, to channel. So if you're sitting there thinking, Shakira, you're fucking retarded or crazy or cuckoo, I'm telling you I'm not. It's just that you haven't heard of it before. You haven't tapped in, you haven't broken out of the programming that has been on this earth for so many years. We are in the golden age. We are in the age of Aquarius, and it's super exciting. The energies that we can actually hold and work with. And I just want to add one more thing, because doing all of this and, developing my psychic abilities and realizing my gifts, and my gifts is in what I'm here to bring is in the creative sense. So for me, it's to create connection, love, and harmony amongst humanity, not only in the mindset, but in actual a physical response. And so the products and the projects that we're bringing, that is my life purpose. That is my life purpose. But I also know I'm a healer and I'm a bearer of crossroads. And so I still need to be able to heal and do that on a large scale, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to awaken humanity. That's my role in life. And so doing this podcast and doing it through the absolute is my personal way that I will be bringing you enlightenment and love and help in finding yourself again the exact way that I have found myself. Because I am living a life of wealth. Let me tell you, I am living my dream life. I get to do whatever the fuck I want. I get to spend time with my family. Rick works from home at the moment, and then he'll go away for 2 weeks, but he's upstairs right now. I get to hang out with my husband. It's amazing. My daughter's in daycare 2 days now. The rest of that time, I get to hang out with her, go for walks. I am living my dream life. And I am also creating, which is also my dream life. Creating this podcast, recording this for you right now. I'm living my dream life. Like, this is what I want to do. And so yeah, when you can get to this point in your life of peace and wealth, because success is not money. Success and wealth is not money. You realize that, don't you? Success and wealth is not money. In fact, I would like to read you a journal entry that I wrote at the end of last year about success specifically. Now, I wrote this at the start of December 2024, and it's the meaning of success. And at this time, I think I was still in the thick of my healing in my dark night of the soul. There was a lot of crying going on at this point. So yeah, I want to read this to you. The meaning of success. After some EFT tapping, I was looking outside from the garage and reflecting. Success is so different for so many people, even me. I have so many parts of me that define success differently. Like the 10-year-old me that was making jewelry and wanted to sell at the market stall, but wasn't allowed because it wasn't good enough. My child self is already so proud of me for the success I've created. I created an award-winning business as well as a whole new invention. Multiple, actually. Got a double-page spread in a magazine. My 10-year-old self has achieved and surpassed her dreams. Just writing that makes me so grateful and happy, and yet at the same time, in creeps that Chiron wound. My adult self is proud of the success I've achieved, even though I've got new dreams now. My adult self is to be successful enough to draw a proper livable wage off my businesses and creations. Yet my higher self defines success in a whole new worthy way. Huge. I also think about the people that have watched me. Some have told me they look up to me and only wish they had the courage to do what I do. Yet I feel guilt and shame for not having achieved my adult defined success yet. It doesn't mean it's not here or not coming. Hello, Rick and I both are working for ourselves right now, no 9 to 5, even Rick. Sure, we might not be quite there yet, money-wise, but we are certainly moving in the right direction. And we're super fucking close. You can't fucking break me. I will never give up on my dreams. I am magic. That was a journal entry I just read to you. And it is, like, we define success so differently, and now I define success as the everyday life I am living. And like I said, I'm living my dream life. I made it. And I know that money and wealth and whatever will come as a byproduct, because that's not my goal. I don't need money. I don't need money to control me. And that's why bringing the work I'm bringing to you right now is so important. And that's what I'm working on, is bringing you humanity's limiting beliefs that are actually blocks, and humanity's biggest money blocks that are beliefs that we need to rewire. And so, yeah, it's all really exciting. The transformation is the fucking point. The journey is the point. Everyone has a story to tell, and I really encourage you to tell yours. What is stopping you from creating your own podcast, writing your own book, having your own experiences to share with the world? What's stopping you? Create. When you create, that brings connection. Now, before you go, I just want you to take a moment to go inward with me. So let's take a deep breath in and out. And I just want you to give yourself a big giant cuddle. Tell yourself that you love you. When was the last time you told yourself that? Or I'm so proud of you. Just tell yourself those things. As you reflect after you watch this video and you go home, cook dinner, or do whatever you're doing later after this, I just want you to think about these questions. What came up for you during this episode? Did you learn anything about yourself just through listening to my journey? Do you think I'm a little bit crazy, or did something actually resonate deep within your bones? Did it? Either way, I'd love to know. If you felt something shift, please share this episode with someone who needs it. Like and subscribe. Head to the links in the show notes if you want to go deeper and learn with me. And welcome to Nonesenseland. Welcome. And next episode, I think, will be with Rick, and it'll be a lot more fun, happy, us. Positive vibes, just, yeah, here for it. Shit talk, most likely. So I'll see you there.